Hi children, today we are back with our second session in the topic of isomerism. In the first session of this isomerism, we have discussed the two subtopics of structural isomerism, that is one chain isomerism and position isomerism. So now in this session, we are going to deal with the other subcategories of structural isomerism, the most important other three subdivisions of structural isomerisms, that is functional group isomerism, metamerism and tautomerism. So first let us start with the functional group isomerism. So as we have discussed in the earlier class, this is the third type of subdivision of the structural isomerism. As the name here indicates, the functional group isomerism is an isomerism in which two or more compounds have same molecular formula but differ in their functional groups. So how do you define this isomerism, children? The isomerism in which two or more compounds have same molecular formula but differ in their functional groups. I think all of you have well placed known about the word functional group. So functional group is nothing but a group of atoms or a single atom which imparts a special character to the carbon chain. As we have discussed the definition in our nomenclature session, functional group is a group of atoms or a single atom which is attached to the carbon chain that imparts a special characters to the carbon chain. So if there is a difference in the functional group of two or more compounds and even then they have same molecular formula, then such type of compounds are said to be functional isomers and that property is said to be functional isomerism. So let me explain with some examples, and before going into the examples, I want to stress a more important point regarding this functional isomerism. That is, not all functional groups exhibit the functional group isomerism with all type of functional groups. Only the categories which I list you here will exhibit the functional group isomerism. For suppose, if I have given a pair like alcohols and ethers, these two will exhibit functional group isomerism with each other reciprocally, but not alcohols will exhibit functional group isomerism with other functional groups. So I am going to list out you some functional groups here or some categories here of functional groups which exhibits functional group isomerism. So those categories includes the follows. The first category of functional groups which exhibits the functional group isomerism is alcohols and ethers. All of you know what is alcohol functional group and what is an ether functional group. Yes, alcohol functional group is nothing but the functional group which contains OH group, and ether functional group is O surrounded with two alkyl groups. So this functional group ether includes O surrounded with different alkyl groups, and OH if it is included in the carbon chain, then such carbon compounds are called as alcohols. So let me explain with an example for this. CH3, CH2, CH2, OH. So all of you know it is an alcohol carbon compound because here we have OH as a functional groups included in the carbon chain. So this is an alcohol. Let me write another compound, that is CH3, CH2, OCH3. So if you observe these two compounds, here we have a functional group that is ether, here we have a functional group that is alcohol. Let me write the molecular formula, general molecular formula of these two compounds. So here if you check children, how many carbons are there? 1, 2, 3. So 3 carbons are there. How many hydrogens are there? 3 plus 2, 5, 5 plus 2, 7, 7 plus 1, that is 8 hydrogens and 1 oxygen of course. So the general formula or molecular formula of this compound, alcoholic compound, is C3H8 and O. If you observe this compound also, so how many carbons are there children? That is 3 again. How many hydrogens? 3 plus 2, 5, 5 plus 3, that is 8 again, and 1 oxygen. So if you observe these two compounds, first one is alcoholic compound. The first example is alcoholic compound and the second example is ether compound. But both of them have the same molecular formula, that is C3H8O. This also have C3H8O, but here it is alcoholic compound, here it is a ether compound. So as we defined in the case of isomerism definition, if any two compounds will have a same molecular formula but differ in the properties, that is chemical properties, then such compounds are said to be isomers. But the difference here in the chemical properties is due to the difference in the functional groups. Here the functional group is OH, here the functional group is ether. So both of them will have same molecular formula, but difference in the chemical properties is due to the difference in the functional group. So such type of compounds which have same molecular formula but differ by their functional group, and due to that difference in the functional group, they have difference in their chemical properties, are said to be functional isomers, and that type of isomerism is said to be functional group isomerism. So let me explain this with another category of functional groups also now. The second category of functional group isomerism includes carboxylic acids, and esters. Carboxylic acids and esters. So these are the second category of functional groups which exhibit functional group isomerism. As in the case of first example, alcohols and ethers exhibits the functional group isomerism. Here we have another category of functional groups that exhibits functional group isomerism. Those include carboxylic acids and esters. So all of you know what is the functional group the formula for the functional group of carboxylic acid, that is COOH, and ester, for ester it is COOR. So the formula for carboxylic acids and ester. Let me explain with an example now. So that is CH3, CH2, CH2, COOH. This is a carboxylic acid compound containing how many carbons? 1, 2, 3, 4 carbons. So the name of this compound becomes what? While numbering a carboxylic acid carbon compound, you should start the numbering from the carbon present in the functional group. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So it is butanoic acid. As the root word is but, as it contains 4 carbons, and as we know the COOH group is present, we should use the suffix oic acid. So the name of this compound becomes butanoic acid. I am going to write you another example, that is CH3, CH2, C double bond O, OCH3. So if you observe this compound, it is ester compound, and the name of this compound becomes, or you can write it as simply as methyl ethyl ester. This is a common name, methyl ethyl ester or ethyl methyl ester, any way you can mention. This is general common name. The main criteria here, if you observe, is if you check the general common formula or molecular formula of this compound, first compound, that is carboxylic acid, is 1, 2, 3, 4 carbons it have. How many hydrogens? 5 plus 2, that is 7, 7 plus 1, that is 8, and we have 2 oxygens. And similarly, if you see here, 1, 2, 3, 4 carbons children, and 5 plus 3, that is 8 hydrogens, and again 2 oxygens. So if you observe this or if you see this example also, if you observe in this example also, like in alcohol and ether groups, here also the two compounds, that is carboxylic acid compound and ester compound, both of them have same molecular formula with 4 carbons, 8 hydrogens and 2 oxygens. Here also 4 carbons, 8 hydrogens and 2 oxygens. But the only difference is, here in this compound the functional group is COOH, whereas in this compound the functional group is C double bond OO. So similarly, like alcohols and ethers, as the functional group is differing here, probably they will have different chemical properties, so that these are called as isomers. Which type of isomers? They are functional isomers or functional group isomers, because they differ in their functional groups with the same molecular formula. In this way, I can explain you with each category with one example each. But before that, I will list out you the categories of functional groups which exhibit the functional group isomerism. You should try the examples taking any small compound belonging to that functional group. You can write the examples for each category, and I will list out you the examples also in your worksheets. Meanwhile, you should try the rest of the categories which I am mentioning here, which exhibits functional group isomerism. Besides these two, I will give you a list of functional groups which exhibits the functional group isomerism. So children, here are the categories of functional groups I have mentioned you just now. I will list out you the categories of functional groups which exhibits the functional group isomerism. In that course, I have discussed the two examples of first two categories, that is alcohols and ethers and carboxylic acids and esters. The other functional groups which exhibits this functional group isomerism are as follows. The third one is aldehydes and ketones. Hope all of you know the functional group formulas. Aldehydes includes CHO and ketones includes C double bond O with either R groups, that is alkyl groups on either side. And cyclic alcohols, that is alcohol group present on cyclic ring, are called cyclic alcohols. And epoxy alkanes, any ether group that is linked in a chain structure, that is O in a chain structure, is called as epoxy alkane group. And unsaturated alcohols means a carbon compound containing OH group along with unsaturation. Unsaturation includes double bond and triple bond. If any carbon compound contains OH group along with a double or triple bond between the carbons in the carbon chain, then such compounds are called unsaturated alcohols. In the similar manner, unsaturated ethers. These two also exhibits functional group isomerism. And primary, secondary and tertiary amines. Amine group is nothing but NH2 group. So if this NH2 group is directly linked to carbon chain, then it is called primary amine. If one of the hydrogen from this amine is again substituted by another carbon with a single hydrogen, then it is called secondary amine. If all the two hydrogens in this amine group are linked with carbons, then that is called a tertiary amine, like this. So this is secondary amine and this is tertiary amine. So all these three reciprocally they are functional group isomers. Functional group isomers. Now nitroalkanes, alkanes containing nitro group. Nitro group means NO2 group, and alkyl nitrites, nitrite group means ONO group. So these two exhibit the functional group isomerism. And cyanides, cyanides are the compounds containing C triple bond N group, and isocyanides are the compound having the linkage N triple bond C group. Just it will be linked reciprocally, that is vice versa. So cyanides and isocyanides. Cyanides is C triple bond N. This C is linked to the carbon chain. In the case of isocyanides, nitrogen is linked to the carbon chain with the triple bond C. So this is isocyanide, this is cyanide. Here in the last category we have alkenes and alkynes. All of you know very much in detail about alkynes. Alkynes are the carbon compounds containing triple bond between the carbons in the chain. What is this alkene? Yes, in the bracket I have mentioned you diene. Diene. Ene indicates double bond. Di means it is repeated twice. If the same carbon has double bond on either side, like this, if the same carbon includes double bond on either side, then it is called alkene. Such carbon containing carbon compound is called as alene. As two double bonds are there, it is commonly also called as diene. So allenes and alkynes are also one of the categories which exhibits functional group isomerism. Now I am going to give some examples except the first two which I have discussed earlier. In the rest of the categories I am going to give you some examples here. So let me take the third one. So example for third one, that is the third category is aldehydes and ketones. Let me take one aldehyde, that is CH3 CH2 C double bond OH. So this is one of the aldehyde group containing carbon compound. C double bond OH is aldehyde group. So aldehyde group containing carbon compound. So 1, 2, 3. So numbering should be done from the carbon if the functional group contains carbon. So 1, 2, 3. The root word becomes prop, ane, 1, al. As the numbering will be started from here, no need to mention 1. So simply you can write propanol. The name of this compound is propanol. Now I am going to write the functional group isomer of this aldehyde. It should be converted into what? Ketone, because aldehydes and ketones are functional isomers. So this aldehyde will exhibit functional group isomerism with ketone. So here we have to mention the ketone, that is CH3 C double bond O CH3. Simply what I have done is I have shifted this hydrogen to this CH2 and just linked this CH3 to C double bond O. So then we will get this compound, children. If you observe the formula of this compound, how many carbons are there? 1, 2, 3. So 3 carbons. How many hydrogens? 5 plus 1, 6 hydrogens. How many oxygens? 1 oxygen. Similarly here if you observe 1, 2, 3 carbons, 6 hydrogens and 1 oxygen. Same molecular formula, but different properties due to the difference in the functional group. Here it is aldehyde group, whereas here it is keto group. So next let us take the fourth category example. That is fourth category example is cyclic alcohols and epoxy alkanes. So let me write one structure, that is this one, and let me write another structure here. That is this one. For each and every example I am not going to mention you the names. As you know the nomenclature, you can write the names of these compounds using the rules of nomenclature. Directly I am explaining the general molecular formula of both and checking whether they are the functional group isomers or not. So in the case of fourth category, this is a cyclic alcohol. As I have mentioned there, cyclic alcohol is a compound which contain alcoholic group, that is OH group, linked to a cyclic chain. Here it is a cyclic chain because all the carbons present in the chain are interlinked with each other and they are present as a closed structure or closed chain. So it is called as a cyclic chain. So this is a cyclic alcohol, of course. Now it is a epoxy alkane, because I have said you if O, that is ether group, is present within the cyclic chain, then such alkanes are called epoxy alkanes. Now you just check the molecular formula of these two compounds. Here how many carbons we have? 3 carbons. As we know, each junction is a carbon. If you check the bonds of this junction, how many bonds are there, children? 1, 2, 3. So 3 bonds are there, but the carbon valency is 4. As 3 was only satisfying at this junction, might be 1 hydrogen is present here. Similarly here in this junction we have 2 bonds. That means we have 2 hydrogens here, and here in this junction we have 2 bonds, so that we have 2 hydrogens here. Now you count the hydrogens, total hydrogens. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 1 oxygen. And similarly here, this is a carbon and we have 2 bonds here, so 2 hydrogens, 2 bonds here, so 2 hydrogens, 2 bonds here, 2 hydrogens and 1 oxygen. So how many carbons are there total? C3, 2, 2, 2. So 6 hydrogens and 1 oxygen. Again the molecular formula was same for both of them. but they are differing with chemical properties due to the difference in the functional group, because here it is OH group, that is alcoholic group, here it is ether group. The oxygen linked on either side to either a cyclic chain or to a straight chain, it is called as an ether. So here it is ether, it is alcohol here. So again they are functional group isomers. In the similar manner you can write the examples for rest of the categories and try it. You can write for primary, secondary and tertiary amines. I have mentioned here like this, like CH3, CH2, CH2, NH2. So this is a primary amine. So how do you say that is primary amine? Because the nitrogen is linked to single carbon. So amine group nitrogen, if it is linked to a single carbon, then it is said to be primary amine. The name of this compound is 1-amino, 1, 2, 3. So 1-amino, the root word is propane, 1-amino propane. So if I have to convert this primary amine into secondary amine, what I need to do is remove one hydrogen and make one of the CH2 group as methyl group and link it to the nitrogen. Then how I get CH3, CH2, I have taken one CH2 group out and added one hydrogen to it and changed it as one methyl group, that is CH3. Still we have one hydrogen here, so you should write it as NH. Now in this example, if you see here, the nitrogen in the amine group is linked directly to two carbons. The amine group nitrogen here in this example, it is linked directly to two carbons. So such type of amino compound is said to be secondary amine. Here the nitrogen of the amine group is directly linked to only one carbon, so it is primary amine. This is secondary amine. Now I can convert it into tertiary amine also. Like similarly what we have did in this case, I have removed one hydrogen and I have linked that hydrogen to one of the methyl group, CH2 group, one of the hydrogen to CH2 group and turned it as methyl group and link it to the nitrogen. Similarly I will do it here also now, CH3N, CH3, CH3. The two hydrogens are taken out from the nitrogen and they are linked to the two CH2 groups and they have turned as methyl substituents directly to the nitrogen. So now here the nitrogen is directly attached to how many carbons? So it is attached to 3 carbons directly. So this group is called tertiary amine. So if you check the formulas of all these three, so 1, 2, 3, 3 carbons, how many hydrogens? 3 plus 2, 5, 5 plus 2, 7, 7 plus 2, that is 9 hydrogens and 1 nitrogen. Similarly here, 3 carbons, 9 hydrogens and 1 nitrogen. Similarly here, 3 carbons, 9 hydrogens, that is 5 plus 1, 6 plus 3, 9 and 1 nitrogen. If you see, all the three structures have the same molecular formula, that is C3H9N, but in all the three cases the chemical properties were different because the functional group is varying here. It is here the tertiary amine, here it is primary amine, here it is secondary amine. As the functional group differs, the properties of the compounds also differs. So in the similar way, I have explained you some categories from this list. In the similar manner, you try for the other categories which are left in this list of functional groups, which exhibits the functional group isomerism. Hope all of you will try it, and if you have any queries, I will mention it in our following worksheets. Thank you. So here are the examples of other categories which I have listed in the functional group isomerism. So let us have a glance at other categories also with some examples, one example each. So in that course I am dealing with here the unsaturated alcohols and unsaturated ethers. So I have taken a compound here, that is CH3, CH, CH, OH. So if you observe this carbon compound, we have a functional group here, that is OH group. As it OH group is alcohol group, so it is an alcoholic compound. At the same time in the carbon chain we have a double bond. So double bond or triple bond, presence of double bond or triple bond is called as an unsaturation. So hence it is commonly called as an unsaturated alcoholic compound. And if you take this compound, here we have a functional group that is O linked on either side with alkyl groups. Such functional group is called as an ether, and at the same time in the carbon chain we have a double bond, that is unsaturation. So unsaturated ether. Now let me check the molecular formula of this compound. How many carbons does it contain? 1, 2, 3. So 3 carbons. How many hydrogens? 3 plus 1 4, 4 plus 1 5, 5 plus 1 6. And again 1 oxygen. So it is C3H6O containing 1 unsaturation, that is 1 double bond and alcoholic group. Here it is again 1, 2, 3, that is C3, 2 plus 1, 3 plus 3, that is 6, and again O. Same molecular formula but different functional groups. Here we have a double bond is the same functional group, but the other functional group, that is the primary functional group, is varying here. Here the primary functional group is alcohol, whereas here the primary functional group is ether. So probably they will have different chemical properties. So they include under functional group isomers. Similarly, coming to the category of nitroalkanes and alkyl nitrites. So nitroalkanes are the carbon compounds which contain nitro group. Nitro group is nothing but NO2 group. Nitro group is nothing but NO2 group. So this carbon chain contains NO2 group, hence they are called nitro compounds. So here we have 3 carbons and linked to nitro group. So 1 nitropropane. Here we have alkyl group linked to nitrite group. ONO group is called nitrite group. Linked to that we have a alkyl group. That alkyl group is containing 3 carbons. So generally the alkyls are suffixed with "-ile", so 3 carbon containing alkyl group, so it is propyl. So now let me check the molecular formula of this compound, that is how many carbons? 1, 2, 3, so 3 carbons, 5 plus 2 7, so 7 hydrogens, 1 nitrogen and 2 oxygen. So let me check here also, 1, 2, 3 carbons, and 3 plus 2 5, 5 plus 2 7, again 1 nitrogen and 2 oxygens. So both of them have same molecular formula, but here the linkage of the functional group is in the form of NO2, but here it is in the form of ONO. The linkage of functional group is just a difference, so that the functional group has varied. Due to the variation in the functional group, automatically the chemical properties of those compounds will vary. So they are categorized as functional group isomers. Now the next example is cyanides and isocyanides. So cyanides are the carbon compounds containing C triple bond N group, whereas isocyanides are the compounds containing N triple bond C linkage. So similarly, if I take example of 2 compounds here, I have taken CH3C triple bond N, which is called as methyl cyanide, and the same compound I have linked differently with nitrogen here. The methyl group is linked differently with nitrogen here, just reciprocally. So then that compound becomes methyl isocyanide. So sure that these 2 compounds will not have the same chemical properties, because the functional group linkage is different here. So difference in linkage of the functional group varies the functional group, and automatically that will vary the chemical properties of compound. So these 2 can be categorized as the functional group isomers. And similarly the last category, that is allenes and alkynes. Allenes and alkynes, I have said you already, allene is a compound containing diene, that is 2 double bonds at the same carbon. If the same carbon is linked on either side with 2 bonds, 2 double bonds, then such compounds are said to be allenes. So let me see, or let me show an examples here. So first example, if you check, you have a triple bond in the carbon chain. So such carbon compounds which includes triple bond in the carbon chain are generally called as alkynes. So it is an alkyne here with how many carbons? 1, 2, 3, 4 carbons. And how many hydrogens? 1 plus 2, that is 3 plus 3, again 6. So the common formula or general formula, molecular formula of this compound is C4H6. Now let me check this. How many carbons? 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 again. And how many hydrogens? 3 plus 1 4, 4 plus 2 6 again. So here these two compounds have same molecular formulas, that is C4H6 in both the cases, but the difference in the chemical properties arised here due to the difference in the functional group. You may question me, no functional group is present here. Of course, unsaturation is also a functional group. So here it is alkyne, that is ine group is present, triple bond is present in this compound, whereas here double bonds are present in this compound. So it is ine category compound, this is ene category compound. Difference in double or triple bond also includes difference in the functional group. So here this will have different characteristics, this will have different characteristics. And I mentioned here this carbon on either side it is linked with a double bond. On either side it is linked with a double bond. Such carbon compounds in which a single carbon on either side it is linked with a double bond is commonly called as allene. So stress it children, keep it in mind, allene is a carbon compound where one of the carbon in the carbon chain is on either side having a double bond. On either side it is having a double bond. Okay. So these are the examples which I have listed you out, the categories of functional groups that is given to you in the functional group isomerism. Next we are going to deal the next category or subdivision of the structural isomerism, that is metamerism. So the next category of structural isomerism is, as I mentioned earlier, that is metamerism. So this is the fourth type of subdivision of structural isomerism. In the previous session we have discussed about the functional group isomerism, that is the third category. Here we are going to discuss about another category, that is metamerism. So first let me define which type of compounds will exhibit this metamerism. Yes, not all the groups or functional groups or all the carbon compounds will exhibit this metamerism. It is restricted to some compounds. So let me stress those compounds in which this metamerism is mainly observed. Yes, the main point we have to remember, that is a carbon compound, in order to exhibit metamerism it should contain a divalent functional group, that is a functional group linked on either side by alkyl groups, different alkyl groups. Univalent functional groups, that is a functional group which generally comes as a chain terminating functional group like COOH, CHO, COCl, CONH2, all these comes as a chain terminating functional groups. Generally these functional groups does not exhibit metamerism. Some functional groups which are divalent, that is keto group as it comes in the center of the carbon chain, similarly ether group as the oxygen comes in the center of the chain. Similarly ester group, because C double bond O will be linked on either side by alkyl groups. So such type of functional groups, similarly tertiary amines and secondary amines as they are linked with different alkyl groups, such type of functional groups which are linked differently to different alkyl groups exhibits this metamerism. But the functional groups which have only univalent linkage will not exhibit this metamerism. So let me explain the definition of metamerism first. So metamerism it is a type of isomerism, structural isomerism. It is a type of structural isomerism in which two or more compounds will have same molecular formula but differ in the alkyl groups present around the functional group present in the carbon chain. So as I have stressed earlier, most important point you have to remember here is univalent functional groups. univalent functional groups, like examples, let me stress, that is C double bond O OH, because it has only one linkage that can be possible through carbon, and similarly C double bond NH2, that is another C double bond OX. X can be any halogen, that is chlorine, bromine, iodine, etc. Similarly, another functional groups which come under last of the carbon chain, that is X, simply halogens and nitro groups. Such type of functional groups which has only one valency that should be linked to the carbon chain will not exhibit this. This type of functional groups will not exhibit this metamerism, will not exhibit this metamerism. Then what type of functional groups will exhibit this metamerism? So these will not exhibit the metamerism. Then what type of functional groups will exhibit this metamerism? Means the functional groups which come under or come in the middle of the carbon chain, like keto group, C double bond O group, that is ester group, sometimes sulfur linked on either sides, and ether group, that is O linked on either side, and N linked to one alkyl group, or NH linked on either side. This is tertiary amine. Similarly, NH linked on either side with different alkyl groups, that is secondary amine. So such type of functional groups where there is probability of finding two different carbon linkages, that is two different alkyl groups, possibility is found, such type of functional groups exhibits this metamerism. So let me explain with you an example here. So let me take one example here. CH3, CH2, O, CH3. So this is an ether containing, the ether group here is linked on either side with alkyl groups. Here the alkyl group is methyl group, here the alkyl group is ethyl group. So O linked on methyl group this side, and this side it is ethyl group. So if you exchange it, again you will get the same compound. So let me take another compound, that is CH3, CH2, CH2, O, CH3. With this we cannot form the metamer, because if you exchange the alkyl groups also, CH3 is brought here and CH3 is brought there, the same compound is repeated. So let me check with this ether now. CH3, CH2, CH2, CH3. Here on one side of the ether we have methyl group, on the other side we have 3 carbon chain, that is propyl group. Now let me change this ether group into the middle, then what I get? CH3, CH2, O, CH2, CH3. Did I change any number of carbons or any number of hydrogens or any number of oxygens in this compound? No. Just what I did is, just I changed the position of ether functional group from one place to another place, just readjusting the alkyl groups. So let me check here, how many carbons are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. How many hydrogens are there? 3 plus 2, 5, 5 plus 2, 7, 7 plus 3, that is 10, and 1 oxygen. In the case of this ether also, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 carbons, 3 plus 2, 5, again 3 plus 2, 5, so 10 hydrogens and 1 oxygen. In both the cases we have same molecular formula, but what is the difference? Yes, the difference is not even the functional group was changed, because in this case and in this case also the functional group is the same. It is, in both the cases it is ether only. Then what is the difference? So in this compound, in the first compound, the ether group is linked. On one side it is linked with methyl group, on the other side it is linked with propyl group. That is, alkyl groups here are methyl and propyl. Whereas in the down, the second example, here the ethyl group is surrounded on either side by ethyl groups only. So this is methyl propyl ether, whereas this is diethyl ether. So the difference in these two compounds is just that the ether group, that is O group, is linked to different carbon chains on either side. But the same number of carbons, same number of hydrogens and same number of oxygens are present in overall compound. But the linkage was different. That linkage has a difference in the alkyl substituents. That is the alkyl chains attached to the functional groups. So such type of compounds which have same functional group, which have same molecular formula, but differ in the linkage of alkyl groups with respect to functional groups are said to be metamers, and that phenomenon is called as metamerism. So this is one example of metamerism. You can try with other functional groups also respectively what I have mentioned here. So try with all these functional groups as similarly what I explained here and check the metamers of these functional groups also, children. And most important point I have to stress here in metamerism, which is not similar to functional group isomerism, is we have just discussed the functional group isomerism. In that we have two different compounds with the same molecular formula but differ in their functional groups. So that those two compounds, that is those two functional isomers, are the compounds belonging to different homologous series because they are of different categories as the functional group varies. But here in the case of metamerism, the compounds which exhibit metamerism are belonging to same homologous series because the functional group in them will not change. Just the linkage of alkyl groups is changed, the functional group remains same. So the compounds which act as metamers belongs to same homologous series. It is very important point. The metamers are the compounds belonging to same homologous series, whereas the functional group isomers are the compounds belonging to different homologous series. Okay. Now I am going to discuss the most important type of structural isomerism and a special type of structural isomerism. Up to now we have dealt many categories of structural isomerism, but this one category was most different and most important type of structural isomerism, that is nothing but tautomerism. So tautomerism is an structural isomerism in which what is the main point you have to remember here is, children, in the other type of structural isomerisms, that is chain isomerism, position isomerism, functional group isomerism and metamerism, still now we have discussed. In all these types of isomerisms, we have explained the type of relation between two different compounds. But in this type of isomerism, the compound is the same. Only one compound will exhibit this isomerism. Within the same molecule or the same compound, the other structure exists due to some differences. That is due to the shifting of double bond and hydrogen. So due to that shifting of hydrogen and double bond with respect to their places, the another structure will be appeared for that same compound, and that structure and this structure, the earlier structure, are said to be isomers, and they are in equilibrium with each other. So such type of isomerism which is exhibited within the same compound due to the shifting of bond and the shifting of alpha hydrogen is said to be tautomerism. So let me define the tautomerism. The isomerism that is exhibited within the same compound, due to the shifting of pi electrons and alpha hydrogen from one carbon to another is called tautomerism. That property is called tautomerism, and those structures which appear for that compound are called tautomers. So do all these carbon compounds will exhibit this tautomerism? No. The compounds or the carbon structures which contains C double bond O especially. So we have many types of that is unsaturated group that should be present in the carbon compound. We have many functional groups that contain unsaturation, but the most important functional group that contains unsaturation is carbonyl group. So the most important type of tautomerism that we ever see in all the chemical compounds, carbon compounds, is keto-enol tautomerism. So this is the most important type of tautomerism which is mainly observed in the carbon compounds containing carbonyl group. Carbon compounds containing carbonyl group. What is carbonyl group? C double bond O group. So this group containing carbon compounds especially show this type of tautomerism, that is keto-enol tautomerism. The most important type of tautomerism. We have many other tautomerism types, but we are not going to mention all those because this was mostly seen in many of the organic compounds. So this was only mentioned in your topic here. So keto-enol tautomerism, the name itself indicates the tautomerism occurs between keto group and enol group. Keto group and enol group. That means the tautomerism occurs between two structures. One of the structure contains keto group and another structure contains enol group. So all of you know what is keto group. Just now I have said C double bond O group is a keto group. All of you know that. But what about this enol group? Enol. So in the nomenclature rules we will use en word when there is a double bond. OL is used for the compounds containing OH compounds, that is alcoholic compounds. That means enol is a carbon compound which contain both double bond and OH group at the same carbon. So again I repeat, enol is a carbon compound which contain double bond and OH group at the same carbon. So that means in this type of tautomerism we get two structures from the same compound just due to the adjustment of bonds, that is shifting of pi bond and alpha hydrogen at the same carbon, and we will get two forms in equilibrium which are simultaneously changed or interconvertible with each other, and those two forms are, one of the form is keto form and another form is enol form. Let me explain you with an example now. So if I take a ketone example like this CH3COCH3. So let me take one example here, that is CH3 C double bond O CH3. It is a carbon compound containing keto group, that is C double bond O group. So now is this compound will exhibit the keto-enol tautomerism or not? Is the only criteria, that is I have mentioned you earlier, C double bond O, presence of C double bond O, that is unsaturation, is only criteria for exhibiting tautomerism? Yes, of course it is one of the criteria, but it is not only criteria to exhibit tautomerism. So here we have to mention another important point also. Any carbonyl compound which contains unsaturation, that is keto group, linked with alpha hydrogens, and alpha hydrogens are also very very important to exhibit tautomerism. So alpha hydrogen should also be present in order to exhibit this tautomerism. So let me check whether this compound contains alpha hydrogens or not. So what is alpha hydrogen? First you have to know that alpha hydrogen. Here I have to mention you, alpha hydrogen is an hydrogen that is linked to alpha carbon. Again a question, what is alpha carbon then? Yes. So every carbon compound contains a functional group, that is carbon compound containing functional group if you take. So that carbon compound contain a functional group. If this functional group is directly linked to any carbon, if this functional group is directly linked to any carbon, that carbon which is directly linked to the functional group is said to be alpha carbon. So in this compound which we have taken as an example here, this is the functional group, that is C double bond O is the functional group, and we have two carbons on either side directly linked to that functional group. So this is also alpha carbon, this is also alpha carbon. You may ask me, here you have written CH3 So it may be linked to directly hydrogens. No, not like that. Even if we write CH3 like this or H3C like this carbon will be linked to carbon only. So this carbon is alpha carbon and this carbon is also an alpha carbon. So probably it have unsaturation with the C double bond O group and it have alpha hydrogens of course, because we have 2 alpha carbons and on the 2 alpha carbons we have 3 each alpha hydrogens on each carbon. So alpha hydrogens are present, unsaturation is present. Probably this compound will exhibit tautomerism. Let us see. What is the other form of tautomeric form of this compound? As both structures exist in equilibrium, we mention with a double headed arrow in tautomerism. So now I am going to convert this keto form. This is a keto form of the compound. Now I am going to convert this keto form into enol form. Enol form. So let me write this like this. This is CH3, C double bond O, and this is CH3. So I have written this structure similarly in elaborate way. So now this keto form is being converted into enol form. So during the conversion of keto form into enol form, what you have to remember is, first the double bond between C and O will be delocalized and it will be deviated towards oxygen. Then oxygen gets negative charge and the carbon gets positive charge. So positive charge over carbon here, negative charge over oxygen here. So as the oxygen got negative charge, it requires a positive ion to get it satisfied with its valency. So one of the hydrogen from either this carbon, this alpha carbon or that alpha carbon will shift towards oxygen as H plus ion. So let me take from this side or that side, it's your wish. I am taking from this side. One of the hydrogen is shifted to oxygen. One of the hydrogen of this carbon is shifted to hydrogen in the form of what? H plus ion. As the hydrogen from this carbon is shifted to the oxygen as H plus ion, what charge is left on the carbon here? Yes, probably it is negative charge. So now if you observe, this hydrogen has shifted to oxygen here. This double bond was polarized. So what we will get? C, H, H, a negative charge over here, single bond C, a positive charge at this carbon, this bond was polarized O, and this hydrogen is shifted here, that's why it is OH, and again similarly CH3. This was written as CH3. Now if you observe here, the adjacent carbons are containing opposite charges. This carbon contain positive charge over it and this carbon contain negative charge over it. So probably if they are containing opposite charges, they would able to form bond. As already one bond is present here, this positive and this negative approach each other and they form as another bond. So what we will get here? This is written as CH2, double bond C, OH and single bond CH3. If you observe the last compound here, what is present here? The alcoholic group is present, and on the same carbon we have unsaturation here. Unsaturation is nothing but double bond. So that's why it is named as enol form. Double bond indicates ene, OL indicates alcoholic group. So the same compound, within the same compound we have double bond as well as alcoholic group on the same carbon. So it is a enol form. Whereas here we have C double bond O group, so that is keto form. So hence it is named as, this structure is converted into this structure. I have written elaborately stepwise to you, but you can write directly from this structure to that structure. No need to mention the bond polarizations and everything in all the cases. You can directly write the keto form and enol form of a given compound. So these two forms exist in equilibrium and they are interconvertible. Simultaneously they will convert rapidly even with a small change in temperature or any other solvent or any other catalyst. So these two forms are exist in equilibrium. So hence this type of tautomerism is called keto-enol tautomerism, because the forms of the compounds present here are keto form and enol form. And some important points you have to remember about this keto-enol tautomerism is, this keto-enol tautomerism always occurs in the presence of catalyst only. It is a catalyzed reaction. It always occurs in the presence of catalyst. What catalyst does we use? Yes, we can use either an acid or a base. But the mechanism of keto-enol tautomerism changes in the presence of acid catalyst and in the presence of base catalyst. So a main difference in the presence of acid catalyst and base catalyst I am going to mention you, and that you can practice while following the mechanism of keto-enol tautomerism. If that mechanism is catalyzed by an acid, then you should follow these steps. If it is catalyzed by an base, you should follow the other steps. What are those steps? As I have mentioned, the mechanism of tautomerism is catalyzed by both acid and base, and for the acid base or acid catalyzed tautomerism and base catalyzed tautomerism, we have different mechanisms and different steps we have to follow. So here are the steps which we have to follow in the mechanism of tautomerism in the presence of acid catalyst and in the presence of base catalyst. So first let me explain you the acid catalyzed keto-enol tautomerism. So if you take a ketone, that is example, if you take that is CH3, earlier we have taken COCH3, this is a keto form. If we take this keto group or keto form and we have turning it into enol form in the presence of acid catalyst, then what was the first step we have to follow is protonation, because we have used the acid as catalyst here. Acids have general tendency to produce protons, to donate proton, to give off proton. So first this acid will give out proton, and due to the presence of this proton, this bond was first polarized, and this proton will attack the negative part of the carbon compound, that is oxygen. So first step includes the CH3 C double bond OH. It is left with positive charge and CH3 will remain. So in this first step, in the presence of acid, what happened? Protonation occurred. That is, addition of proton was done, because the acids has tendency to give proton. Initially, if that reaction start with acid catalyzed, it is with acid, in the presence of acid, then that acid will produce H plus, and that H plus will attack. As the pi bond here is a weaker bond, it will delocalize easily in the presence of proton, and that proton will attack this oxygen. So first step is protonation completed, and the second step is, as cation is formed here, that will be delocalized by some factors, and final step is deprotonation. Deprotonation means removal of proton. Proton is nothing but H plus ion. So we should remove hydrogen from, not from this carbon, from any of the alpha carbon attached to that group, from any of the alpha carbon attached to that group, that is C double bond O group, we have to remove a proton. Proton in the sense H plus. So hydrogen should be removed in the form of H plus. So either from this side or from this side, you just remove one proton, so that the hydrogen will be removed as proton, the carbon will be remained with negative charge. So this positive and that negative forms a double bond, forming an enol form. This is an enol form. So the same mechanism which we have said in the earlier with the same example, but in the presence of acid catalyst, first protonation occurs, then cation will be formed which will be delocalized, and final step will be deprotonation. But in the presence of base, the same mechanism in the presence of base catalyst will be done reversely. That is, first the deprotonation occurs. That means first from the keto form, from either of the alpha carbons, proton will be removed, because base has the property to accept proton. In the presence of base, first the base just pulls out the proton from the alpha carbon. So one of the alpha carbon will be removed, deprotonized. That was the first step. Then what will be formed automatically, as proton will be removed or leaved out as H plus ion, the carbon will be remained with negative charge. So anion will be formed, anion delocalization occurs, and final step here will be, in that base catalyzed tautomerism will be protonation. Then at that anion, carbon containing negative charge, we will add a proton. So that step is called protonation. Exactly reverse to this, mechanism. Acid catalyzed mechanism and base catalyzed mechanism are just reverse mechanisms. Here first step is protonation, then cation formation and deprotonation. Here the first step is deprotonation, due to that we will get anion and that anion will be protonated in the last step. So the keto-enol tautomerism will form or will follow either of these mechanisms, either the base catalyzed mechanism or acid catalyzed mechanism. So now I am going to explain you another most important points of this keto-enol tautomerism. Here I have some examples in front of you. So in each example I have written a keto form and enol form. So in the first example, here is a keto form with unsaturation, and on either side of the keto form we have alpha carbons. So then arises a question for you, from which carbon do we have to take the alpha hydrogen? So as both of them are symmetrical carbons, they are same in all respects, then you can take the alpha hydrogen from any of the carbon. There is no question that you should take the alpha carbon from this carbon only. So you can remove the alpha carbon from any of the alpha hydrogen from any of the alpha carbons from either side, because they are symmetrical in nature. So you can remove from this side or from this side. I have removed from this side, so I got the enol form like this. So if you remove from this side, the double bond will be shifted there. So you can practice that also. In the second example, children, if you see, we have two keto groups here, and this is an alpha carbon because it is directly linked to functional group, and this is also an alpha carbon because it is linked to functional group, and with respect to this keto group, this is also an alpha carbon, this is also an alpha carbon. With respect to this, these two are alpha carbons, with respect to this, these two are alpha carbons. That means overall in the compound, all these three, that is CH3, CH2 and as well as CH3, all the three are alpha carbons and all the hydrogens present on them are alpha hydrogens. Now again a question mark here, from where you have to remove the alpha hydrogen to form enol? Yes, the most important thing you have to remember here is, we have three alpha carbons here, so you can remove hydrogen from any of these three, but stress a point here that if you have any alpha carbon intervened between two functional groups, that is influenced by both the functional groups, this carbon is influenced by this functional group as well as this functional group. So this carbon is alpha with respect to this functional group and this functional group also. Such type of carbon, if it is intervened between two functional groups and it is influenced by two functional groups, that alpha carbon is most react to alpha carbon. So among these three children, this alpha carbon is most reactive and it readily loses the proton and readily gives off the H plus ion. So we have to remove the hydrogen from this carbon, not from this and not from this. So the enol form becomes this. So remember this point. And another point, you may ask me the question, as the two forms of tautomerism are in equilibrium with each other, they are equally stable, both of them are stable, or there will be change in stability of any one of these forms? Yes. Here is the answer. Generally, the keto group is more stable than enol group. Among the two forms, keto group is generally more stable in many cases, but in some cases, enol group also becomes more stable when compared to keto group. What are those cases? Which decides enol group is stable or keto group is stable? Yes, there are some factors which decide the stability of keto group and enol group. Some of those factors are, first factor is aromaticity. Second factor is conjugation. And third factor is hydrogen bonding. And fourth factor is inductive effect. So comparing all these characters or all these factors, we can decide in a given keto enol forms which one was most stable. So let me explain with two examples here among those about that factors there. if you see here, this is the keto form of one compound, and if you rearrange this keto form, this bond will be polarized like this, and here we have 2 alpha hydrogens. These one of the hydrogen from this alpha carbon will be shifted to here, and it will form as like this enol form. Double bond will be formed and OH is there, so it is a enol form. If you check these 2 compounds, children, here, so these 2 compounds, among these 2 compounds, which one is most stable? As I have mentioned earlier, generally keto group is most stable. You should not say that this compound was most stable here, as it is a keto form. Check the characters. Do these have aromaticity? No. But this compound, that is enol compound, have aromaticity. How do you say that aromatic character is present in enol form? Yes. The most important character for aromaticity is presence of benzene ring. Alternative double bonds, that is conjugation. Aromaticity was there, conjugation was there. So 2 factors among the stability are covered in enol form. So that we can say among these 2 forms, enol form is more stable than keto form. In the similar manner, if you check it here, children, so we have a benzene ring linked to a side chain. If keto-enol tautomerism occurs, this will polarize like this and that will be formed like this. So among these 2, keto form and enol form, which one is more stable? Again it is enol form, because here the factor that affects the stability of enol form is conjugation. Correct. We have a benzene ring. Here we don't have any double bond in conjugation with benzene ring. Conjugation means in alternative position. The 3 double bonds in the benzene ring are in alternative positions, but in the side chain we don't have any double bond in conjugation. That is in alternative form, left one, and here if we have double bond, it will be conjugation. But coming into enol structure, this double bond is shifted to this position, which is in conjugation with benzene ring. Yes, of course, when compared to this structure is more stable due to extended conjugation. Not only the double bonds in the benzene ring, but also the double bond outside the benzene ring is in alternative positions with these double bonds. So here we have extended conjugation. So it is more stable. Enol form is more stable due to which factor? Conjugation factor. Here the enol form is more stable due to the which factor? Aromatic character, that is aromatic character of benzene ring. And earlier we have mentioned here one example. Here also, in this example also, the enol form is most stable, because here if you see, there is no probability of formation of hydrogen bonding. But once the alcohol group is formed here, this hydrogen is linked to an electronegative atom which has another electronegative atom in the presence. So this hydrogen can form hydrogen bonding with this oxygen in the keto group. So formation of hydrogen bonding will increase the stability, and especially the hydrogen bond formed here is intramolecular hydrogen bonding. That is the hydrogen bonding formed within the same molecule. Such type of hydrogen bonding is called intramolecular hydrogen bonding. So it is more stable actually. Hydrogen bonding, formation of hydrogen bonding is one of the factor of stability. And in hydrogen bonding, if it is intramolecular, it is somewhat more stable. So, and another more important, here it has formed a cyclic ring. Due to the formation of hydrogen bonding, it has formed a cyclic chain, cyclic ring structure, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6-membered cyclic chain is formed. So if any hydrogen bonding leads to the formation of cyclic structure with 6 members, it is still more stable. So basing on all these factors of stability, here in both the structures, that is ketol and enol structures, enol is more stable when compared to keto. So in generalized forms, keto form is more stable, but you check children whether any of the factors of stability is governing the enol form to be more stable, and then you answer your question. Generalized form of stabilized form of keto-enol tautomerism is keto group, no doubt, but under some specialized factors of stability, enol form can also exhibit more stability than keto form. So this is all about the tautomerism and most important points of tautomerism, which is a special category of structural isomerism. So with this we have completed the session of the subcategories of structural isomerism, which was one of the basic classification of isomerism. So in our later sessions we are going to deal with the other classification, the other part of classification of isomerism, that is the geometrical isomerism, conformational isomerism and optical isomerism, which are stereoisomers or stereo, which come under stereoisomerisms. So with this we have completed the session of structural isomerism. Hope all of you will practice well and maintain the running notes of all these structural isomerisms in your running notes and practice the examples as well you can, and write proper running notes and practice the bits present in your material. Thank you children.